The wellness industry has always been built on fear, distrust, and pseudoscience. But now, it's not just scamming people out of their money with false promises of natural health. It's killing animals. It's fueling outbreaks. And it's laying the groundwork for the next pandemic in real time, right in front of us. This isn't just fringe behavior anymore. It's a multi-trillion-dollar business empire that is actively undermining public health while masquerading as a source of healing. At the heart of this new threat is the explosive growth of raw pet food, a trend wrapped in comforting language like ancestral diets and biologically appropriate feeding. Behind the glossy packaging, though, is something far darker. Food laced with dangerous pathogens, including the highly pathogenic avian influenza virus H5N1. This virus, once limited mostly to birds, is now infecting cats, foxes, seals, and even cows, and every new infected species is another stepping stone toward human infection. This isn't a hypothetical. It's already happening. In 2024, pet cats in California died after eating raw poultry contaminated with H5N1. These weren't outdoor or stray cats. They were indoor pets, fed food their owners were told was natural and healthier. What they got instead was a virus with a 50% fatality rate in infected cats. And that's just the beginning. The H5N1 virus has now been found in dairy cows and raw milk, meaning the entire raw pet food supply chain is potentially contaminated. Yet there are no strict regulations, no mandated safety testing, and no consistent oversight. Companies continue to produce and sell these products under the guise of wellness, lying to consumers while putting both animals and humans at risk. And we are losing our ability to stop this. With Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dismantling the FDA's Center for Veterinary Medicine, the very agency tasked with responding to veterinary public health crises, we've lost a critical line of defense. That agency was responsible for regulating pet food safety and monitoring zoonotic diseases. Now, with budget cuts and staffing slashes, it has been crippled. And with it, so has our national response capacity. But this isn't just about one agency. The problem is deeper. It's systemic. The entire wellness industry is steeped in anti-scientific rhetoric, the same misinformation ecosystem that fueled COVID denial, anti-vaccine movements, and the resurgence of diseases like measles. These influencers don't just reject expert consensus. They actively promote the opposite, pushing dangerous ideas like natural immunity to H5N1 and claiming raw food boosts the immune system, even as pets drop dead from ingesting it. None of the preservation methods they promote, like freezing or high-pressure processing, are effective against flu viruses. Only cooking kills H5N1. Only pasteurization makes milk safe. But the industry doesn't care. It continues to promote raw diets not because they're safe or effective or backed by any evidence, but because fear sells. And misinformation is profitable. Let's be clear, there is no scientific evidence that raw pet food is healthier than cooked alternatives. There is no evidence that raw milk is superior to pasteurized milk. There is no evidence that animals gain any benefit from these natural approaches. Only overwhelming proof that these diets increase the risk of infection, suffering, and death. The problem goes beyond pets. Every time H5N1 infects a mammal, the virus gets another chance to mutate, and it will mutate. Influenza viruses have segmented genomes, allowing them to mix and match genetic material when co-infecting a host. That's how pandemics start. The 2009 H1N1 outbreak emerged the same way, a viral reshuffling across species lines. H5N1 is following the same playbook, and every unregulated raw food product is another roll of the dice. And as the virus spreads, so does the misinformation, amplified by wellness influencers with millions of followers, none of whom face any accountability for their false claims. They say culling infected animals is inhumane. They fight against livestock vaccinations. They tell people not to trust their vets, their doctors, or their public health officials. This isn't just dangerous, it's reckless negligence. What we're witnessing is the collapse of the firewall between animal disease and human disease. The lines are blurring, and the time we have to act is running out. We cannot afford to treat this as a niche concern or a lifestyle choice. This is a public health emergency in the making. And the longer we allow pseudoscience to dictate our policies, the closer we get to the next outbreak. There are solutions, but they require political will, regulatory enforcement, and a recommitment to evidence-based health policy. We need mandatory pathogen testing in all raw pet foods. We need labeling laws that tell consumers the risks. We need to fund the FDA's veterinary branch and restore its authority. We need to pass national standards that prohibit the sale of raw animal products contaminated with H5N1 and enforce vaccination and culling protocols among livestock to break the chain of transmission. But we're moving in the opposite direction. Kennedy's plans don't just weaken our defenses, they bulldoze them. His policies directly benefit the very industry responsible for enabling viral spread, while kneecapping the institutions designed to protect us. It's the same script we've seen before: cut science, empower misinformation, and pretend freedom means deregulation, even when the cost is measured in lives. And make no mistake, the cost will be lives. The question is not if this virus will jump into humans, it's when. And when it does, and we trace the outbreak back to infected raw meat, dead cats, and preventable cross-species transmission, we'll ask how it happened. The answer will be that we let an anti-science industry run unchecked, that we silenced the experts, and that we prioritized profit over prevention. The wellness industry is not harmless. It is not a benign cultural trend. It is a ticking time bomb. It is endangering pets, fueling viral evolution, and pushing us closer to the brink of another pandemic. If we don't act now, with urgency and clarity, we will once again find ourselves scrambling to contain a virus we had every opportunity to stop.